What did the weird kid in your school do that you'll never forget? Naruto ran everywhere, told everyone her dad was Harry Potter, at age 12, and most memorably, came to school bawling her eyes out because she said she had laid an egg and her parents had eaten it for breakfast. This girl decided she wanted to be pregnant. She proceeded to ask probably half the people in our high school if they would impregnate her, and then when that didn't work she brought a Ziploc bag and asked for guys to jizz in it. Everyone called her sperm bank after that, and I honestly can't remember her real name. Bell rings, playground doors open, weird kid walks directly to the center and screams for a full minute. I thought it was weird then, but now I can relate. Ate a sheep eye we were supposed to dissect in science class. Man oh man. Ended up in a mental institution because his parents bought him a new mattress and while removing the old one they found multiple mason jars full of blood, no exaggeration 2 gallons total. There was a police investigation and turned out it was all his blood. His only answer as to why was just in case. Have you ever left in the middle of a date? If so, why? Had been on a couple of dates with this guy. At his place, watching a movie, he climbs on top of me. I tell him I'm not comfortable. He does it again, adding, I like shy girls. Date over. I left in the middle of a movie once. The date was going great but I forgot that I had left a pot pie in the oven in my apartment. Only broke college guys and old people eat pot pies. I remembered a few minutes in and whispered something along the lines of gotta get my pot pie out of the oven so I don't burn down my apartment, I'll be right back. I did return but she was pissed. Thought we could go see the pot pie and have a laugh. Arrived at my previously empty apartment to find my brother and the neighbor girls drunk and naked in my living room. Showed her the pot pie and she said something along the lines of you're an asshole, take me home. I met a guy on Grindr. Turns out his profile picture was 10 years out of date, and he was about 100 pounds heavier. But I decided to give it a chance anyways, because I didn't want to be rude. His first question was if I liked to drive my car barefoot, then he complained that his dinner smelled like a racist term for African Americans. I left immediately. Serious, employers of Reddit, what is the weirdest or creepiest thing you've found during a background check on a potential employee? I was a hiring manager for a while at my place of employment, had a decent candidate. He was applying for an overnight position so a slight lack of social skills wasn't too bad. He had a decent work history and told us he'd been through a recent divorce and had been down on his luck for a while, which explained an 18-month gap in employment. He answered no to the conviction question. His drug test was fine, so I started his background check and told him we'd bring him back in to finish up paperwork once it was returned. 4 days later, the check was still pending, which usually suggests that the candidate has some sort of record and our HR department is investigating. A week and a half passes and candidate has called a few times asking what's up. I have no answer. Finally, I get the big do not hire on his status, as well as an email from HR. The email was basically along the lines of do not hire candidate. Do not contact candidate. If candidate comes into your location, insist he leaves immediately. I never saw the guy after that and I don't know what they found. Uber drivers, what's the deepest secrets you've overheard in your car? Former Uber driver here. Picked a girl up, a sweet girl from a bar on a Wednesday night, absolutely hammered, about 10 p.m. She got into my car, apologized for being so drunk and politely asked if we could just drive around a little while, with the windows down. I was prepping for a cleaning fee, trying to drive and pull a vomit bag out of the glove box. But no, she just did that airplane thing with one hand out the backseat window. She asked me if I had ever thought about dying, to which I replied, yeah, I guess so. That's when she told me that she had cancer. It was in her brain and it was too far gone to consider chemo. I remember my heart just pounding. She told me she was dying and she was going to be okay. Tonight she was celebrating with her work friends who threw her a going away party. She told them she was taking a position abroad. I just didn't tell them that abroad was heaven. Jesus. Effing Christ. I turned off my app and cried my butt all the way home. Police officers, what's the dumbest thing you've ever seen a criminal do or say? Retired cop here. Boy do I have stories. One dumbass move a guy did was he steals some poor girl's car. It was her first car, she worked full-time, was a sweet little thing and we felt so bad, she was crushed. Also in the car for some reason was her cell phone. So a colleague who has the gift of talking shit really well calls the number. Dude answers. It goes a little something like this. Motherfucker, you stole my girlfriend's car. Bitch, I will fuck you up then fuck your bitch. Bring it motherfucker. No cops, no friends, me and you. I'm at the Chevron on Main Street and 5th. Pussy, I'm calling your bitch ass out. Bitch, I'm on my way. Click. No fucking way has coming. Dude rounded the corner and pulls into the gas station. We hit our cars behind it and then when he parked we boxed him in. He had a gun too. Fucking idiot. On probation, had a loaded gun. Came to us. What survival myth is completely wrong and can get you destroyed? You can drink water from a cactus. Any liquid inside a cactus will be highly acidic and likely to cause nausea and diarrhea, further dehydrating you. Most of the stuff Bear Grylls does, like eating raw meat, picking and eating fruit out of bear shit, or squeezing the juice out of elephant poop and drinking it. Follow flying birds to find water. They can simply be flying to spend a night anywhere, so we can't rely on them. If a shark is coming after you, swim away. If a shark is coming towards you in the first place, it's most likely just curious and wants to check you out. Swimming away and thrashing about will further intrigue it to keep following you. Instead, redirect it by running your hand along its side and carefully positioning it to swim away from you. Side note, if one happens to bite you, poke stab it in the eyes or pull on its scales instead of bopping it in the nose. Gills and eyes are far more sensitive than a shark's nose. Conserving water. You should not stretch a glass of water over 4 days. When you are thirsty, you need water.
I am 27. Average retirement age is 62. If anybody think I'm working another 35 years, they have lost their fucking mind.
People who separated/divorced within 1 year of getting married. When did you know it was a mistake? She went out for girls' night and met a new friend named Nicole at a bar. Started texting her a lot, then going to hang out now and then. We had a baby at home and she kept trying to go hang out with this girl from another town over with no last name whom I was not allowed to meet. His real name was Wesley. Not me, but a friend of mine. They had been married about 6 weeks. She had just moved in when they returned from the honeymoon, and she was rearranging furniture, organizing closets, etc., one day while he was at work. She started pulling some of his boxes down from a closet shelf to make room for her things, and a box fell down accidentally, spilling hundreds of pictures of nasty stuff. Divorced the pedo after reporting him to the military police. They were both in the military. She decided she was in love with her stepbrother a month after we got married.
Motherfuckers in elementary school used to lie about the dumbest shit. Like, bro, your uncle was not a Power Ranger. I just got kicked out of church because I yelled out fuck the devil. I thought we hated this ninja.
Students of Reddit, have you ever lost your temper with a teacher? What's your story? Ooh, if that brought back a bad memory. My mother and father passed when I was in my final year of school. I was off school for a while around the time of the second funeral. When I returned to school, my tutor decided it was her job to tell the class what had happened with me, right there in front of everyone, instead of letting me do it on my own terms. To say I lost my temper would be an understatement. A friend of mine wanted to go to a certain university that was out of state and somewhat tough to get into. The counselor told him not to waste his time as he would never get in. This pissed him off, so he went to the principal, who told him to trust the counselor as that was her job. He applied anyways, got accepted, and taped 2 copies to the counselor and principal's door. He couldn't afford to go anyways, but he was trying to prove a point. I flipped on several teachers, but this one still bugs me. One of my best friends in high school had died in a car accident, and a couple days later my friends and I told my teacher we would not be able to make it to class because of the viewing. She then proceeded to tell us that we need to plan our days better and how irresponsible it was of us. I've never felt so much rage. Screw you, Mrs. Weaver.
My baby is ugly as hell. My son was born a few weeks ago and I love him to death. But he's ugly as hell. I hate myself for thinking it, but it's impossible not to. My whole family has been lying to me, saying OMG your kid's so cute. Yeah. Horseshit. The little guy looks like a potato on drugs.
Serious, what are some of the most common dark realities people choose to live in denial about? When foster kids turn 18, they are tossed to the streets. One accident or tragedy can completely flip your life upside down. That our memories are subjective, full of errors and patches in order to maintain a balance in our understanding of events. Some memories are even false, and some memories are so different from other people present at the same events that actions, reactions and outcomes could be entirely opposite from each other. Humans assume that memories are correct all of the time, however they are prone to errors and even change over time. Slavery still exists in many places of the world. Anyone can become disabled at any age at any time. Toxic relatives. Just because they have your blood doesn't mean they are good for you or that you have to stay there. There could be kidnapping victims suffering from extreme abuse right down the road from you and you'd never know. I work in daycare. There's a lady I used to work with who discovered something like this. She said she went to babysit for a neighbor who she didn't know had a baby, was told not to go into the baby's room, did anyway, and discovered an abused child, who had apparently been with this lady for years. What's the quickest you've noped out of a job? I worked in Claire's for one day. At the end of the shift she asked me to put a bucket load of tiny earring packages back on the walls. A few hours later I finished and apparently misplaced a few of them, so she threw all of them to the floor and said to do it again. Nope. Was told to work inside an industrial metal shredder that didn't have a safety lockout. Hell to the F nope. I won't pay you to design that logo, but when my friends ask who did it I'll tell them and you'll get more work that way. Nope. It was a shop that refurbished train suspension hydraulics. 40% of the guys were missing at least part of a finger. Maintenance guy was missing 4 on one hand and 1.5 on another. Half the guys were high and the guy training me stormed out halfway through the second day. I was like, yeah, I'm just going to dip out now. My first day on a carpentry job, a 20-year-old kid, I was 22 at the time, shot me with a nail gun from about 20 feet away. He thought it was hilarious and so did everyone else including the company owner. Noped right the F out.
Ninjas be like. I was on the street at 12 serving dope. You was into house playing the game. Like okay? I was having fun. Ninja, are you mad?